trend has taken fashion by storm in the past few months.
Have you heard of quiet luxury?
Quiet luxury is taking over.
Luxury retailers have seen sales increase pretty much every
A trend that, ironically, doesn't feel that trendy. It's not overly flashy, loud, or avant-garde. It doesn't shout at you, it whispers. It exudes refinement and sophistication through subtle details and a minimal aesthetic. I'm talking about the rise of quiet luxury. Quiet luxury is a term that has risen in popularity massively since April of 2023, growing over 300% in the number of Google searches and earning 35 billion views on TikTok. But what exactly does it mean? Quiet luxury, also known as stealth wealth, is a minimalist approach to fashion that emphasizes timeless elegance, refinement, and everyday versatility. It's the opposite of obvious logos and branding. It's neutral colors, smart tailoring, clean-cut lines, and elite craftsmanship. It's Kendall Roy in a $500 Loro Piana baseball cap. It's brown and beige cashmere from Brunello Cucinelli. It's well-tailored basics and accessories that look like they could have been passed down as a family heirloom. Simply put, it's new age minimalism with a touch of the old money aesthetic. But to really understand how and why this sudden rise of quiet luxury came about, we need to rewind it a few centuries. Throughout history, displays of wealth were often loud and ostentatious. You can observe this in architecture with buildings like the Palace of Versailles, arguably one of the most opulent residences in French history, and in fashion with the upper class distinguishing themselves through luxurious fabrics and expensive dyes, as was the color purple during the Middle Age. And the lower class have been emulating the rich and powerful through their clothing choices for thousands of years, something the upper class has never been too fond of. So much so that there were times when they put in place something called sumptuary laws that dictate what colors and fabrics people were permitted to wear according to their social rank. For example, during the Roman Empire, the emperor was the only person allowed to wear the color purple, and during Elizabethan England, Queen Elizabeth I decreed that only people above certain noble ranks could wear velvet, satin, and silk. These laws were justified by the Queen by emphasizing a fear of the rise in extravagant spending from the masses, which could potentially impact the nation's wealth. But in reality, the main reason behind these laws was an aversion to people dressing above their rank, which Queen Elizabeth complained was causing disorder and confusion. This tendency of people emulating the rich has remained a constant to this day. During the 20th century, we've seen various styles from the wealthy become mainstream, such as the Ivy League look in the 50s, pastel preppy in the 80s, and now quiet luxury, or stealth wealth as some would call it. But why is this particular style so popular today? After many hours of research, I have come to the conclusion that there are four main factors that have led to the massive popularity of the quiet luxury trend. Number one, it is a counter-movement to the new money aesthetic. With the advent of the internet and social media, this has created a lot of new millionaires that have joined the ranks of the wealthy. And with this new money in the system and the boom of Instagram, flex culture has been rampant in the 2010s. It is no coincidence that some of the best-selling products for high-end fashion houses like Gucci and Hermes are their infamous gaudy belts. This surge of new money, along with people's desire to flex, means trends like logomania and maximalism were at the forefront of fashion. But this generation is tired of the flex culture and influencers flaunting their wealth with designer logos.
I really like Gucci polos. Every time they come out with one, I pretty much just get them tailored. Super subtle too, right? You know?
And quiet luxury is a direct counter to that. So what's happening now more than ever is people seem to be putting this old money aesthetic and lifestyle on a pedestal, which has been apparent with countless videos on social media comparing new money versus old money, women voicing their desire for an old money husband, and in more recent events, the wedding of public figure Sophia Richie has driven millions to praise her new quiet luxury style. Number two, the rise in popularity of TV series about the 1%, with shows like Succession, Industry, Billions, White Lotus, and Bling Empire, just to name a few topping the charts that are about the lives of the upper class. It is no surprise that a rise of the interest in what the 1% are wearing would happen hand in hand. Number three, economic downturn. With the economy going downwards, we've seen many public figures dress in a more understated manner in order to lessen criticism directed to their financial privilege. We've seen this happen on red carpets, for example, where many celebrities have stopped wearing necklaces. It is a common occurrence during times of wider economic downturn for the affluent to shy away from wealth signifiers, hence the shift towards more muted luxury. Number 4, it's easy to emulate. As opposed to new money and its loud displays of wealth where you would actually need to spend exorbitant amounts to have those designer logos, it is far easier and more attainable for someone to emulate the quiet luxury style without the price tag. So it's no surprise that many people would flock to this aesthetic. But you might be wondering, how can you actually recreate this style without spending $5,000 on a jacket or $1,000 on trousers? Step 1. Understand the mindset. Quiet luxury is all about conveying class, sophistication, and simplicity. It's a style that comes from families who have had wealth for generations and have developed a refined, understated taste that does not aim to boast or show off with flashy logos. There's a scene in the TV show Succession that epitomizes what quiet luxury and old money are about.
Who the fuck is this now?
Cousin Greg makes the grave mistake of bringing a date to Logan's birthday party, who is very visibly nouveau riche. Loud, practical, and clearly looks like she doesn't belong, which Tom doesn't hesitate to make Greg aware of.
So, I hear you've made an enormous faux pas, and everyone's laughing up their sleeves about your date.
What? Why?
Why?
Because she's brought a ludicrously capacious bag.
Quiet luxury is rooted in tradition and heritage, and the clothing worn is more of the if you know type of clothing rather than statement pieces that shout the brand name. You want to exude quiet confidence and class without needing to say much.
What?
What's even in there? Huh? Flat shoes for the subway? Her lunch pail? I mean, Greg, it's monstrous. It's gargantuan. You could take it camping. You could slide it across the floor after a bank job.
Step 2. Know the color palette. Quiet luxury is not about bright, bold colors that instantly draw the attention in a room. Instead, you want to lean towards a neutral color palette. Think shades of white, black, grays, tans, cream tones, navy blues, and olive greens. When these colors dominate an outfit, they can give off an effortless, luxurious vibe. Step 3. Buy or thrift the essentials. Quiet luxury is not about reinventing the wheel. You want the bulk of your wardrobe to consist of timeless wardrobe staples in high quality fabrics. Some of the pieces that most give off that quiet luxury vibe are crisp tailoring, especially when worn casually without a tie or even without a dress shirt. For example, you could replace the shirt with a polo or a t-shirt. White or cream polo shirts. Both short-sleeved and long-sleeved versions will have you fitting right in with the Nepo babies. Knitwear and smart trousers. This combo is the go-to casual attire for quiet luxury, and bonus points if the trousers are pleated. Anything linen in summer, anything cashmere in winter. The more budget-friendly alternative would be wool, or even more affordable, wool polyester blends. Loafers, black or brown if you go leather, beige or brown if you go suede. The real old money quiet luxury people will get these essentials at brands such as Loro Piana, The Row, or Brunello Cucinelli. But if you're just trying to emulate the aesthetic without the hefty price tag, you can get very similar looking pieces from high street brands like Zara, COS, H&M, or Abercrombie. Granted, you might not get the same quality of fabrics, but you can still put together similar looking outfits. Step 4. If you can, invest in a nice timepiece. I know, that's contradictory to the whole budgeting thing, but a common denominator that you will notice with quiet luxury is people sporting a nice watch, usually not a big bulky one. Think more subtle, black or brown leather straps, a smaller dial. Some iconic designs like the Cartier Tank or the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso will set you back in the thousands, but there are many more affordable watches from reputable brands that still feel luxurious and are made with great craftsmanship, from the likes of Seiko, for example, with their cocktail time range, the Presage Automatic, or the Tissot PRX. With these 4 elements in mind, you can recreate outfits that exude quiet luxury without the hefty price tag. Just remember, it's all about subtlety and elegance. But what if we were to try a real quiet luxury piece? The stuff that's normally reserved for the 1% of the 1%. I'm quite curious myself, and I want to see what the fuss is all about. Let me just check Mr. Porter. Ooh, cashmere mock neck sweater, 2,525 pounds. They don't have my size though. They don't have a 46. Let's see what else they got. Oh my God, 5,200 pounds. What is this? I kind of like this green one, you know? Oh, they don't have a size 46. No, they got in blue, size 46. Let's do it. All right, the package has arrived. Let's try this on. This is pretty much supposed to be the best that money can buy, the highest tier of luxury fashion. So let's see what 2,000 pounds can get us. This is the Loro Piana ribbed cable knit cashmere sweater. Wow, this might be the softest sweater that I've ever put on. So this is officially the most expensive sweater that I've ever worn in my life. Not super slim, I'd say it's a pretty classic fit. You can see the detail on the knit is just incredible. We've got 2x2 ribbing on the cuffs and on the hem of the sweater, and then this intricate pattern here on the rest of the garment. This feels like quiet luxury at its finest. It's subtle, yet distinctive and intentional in the design. It really is the if you know type of clothing. If you see someone wearing this walking in the street, you might not turn your head, but when you really come up close to it, that's when you're like, whoa, that sweater's looking really nice. There's something different about it. Like, where did you get it from? What's the brand? I mean, this is an absolutely beautiful piece, and I would love to keep it. If I was in the Roy family or something, I could definitely see myself wearing this. Right now, it's just a little bit outside my budget range, so I'm gonna have to return it. So, is it worth participating in this quiet luxury trend? Well, I guess it depends. First of all, I wouldn't say it's really a trend. Although yes, it is absolutely a trendy buzz term in fashion right now, quiet luxury has always existed in some sense. There's always been expensive, unbranded clothing that only the wealthy could afford. It's not a new thing. In some way, quiet luxury feels like an alternative word for minimalism, except this time it's high-end. But in reality, if you're going to try to emulate this aesthetic, you're probably gonna get the cheaper stuff from high street stores anyways, unless you are very wealthy. So it kind of feels like just a marketing term that sells you on an aesthetic that's been around for a while, but rebranding it to make it feel fresh and current and more unique, and ultimately to sell you more clothing. But let's not get all pessimistic here. That doesn't mean that it's all bad and you should tune out of it completely. I do think there are important takeaways from this. In a way, many elements of quiet luxury are things that I like to preach: a focus on quality rather than quantity, the importance of versatility, the use of neutral colors, and investing in good fabrics. So I would say the core tenets of quiet luxury are for the most part really solid, valuable principles. As far as dressing in that quiet luxury aesthetic, well, I would say that depends on your style. You could take elements of it and apply them to your style if they suit you. Like any trend in fashion, I think it's important to be intentional with your purchases and not wasteful. So when you see something new that's popping off, whether that's a certain style or a trendy item, take a moment to reflect. Breathe. And think about whether that style or item feels authentic to you. Does it feel like something that you genuinely want to have in your wardrobe and wear on a regular basis? Or does it feel inauthentic? For example, for myself, when it comes to the quiet luxury trend, a lot of the clothing seemed to lean towards slimmer, tapered cuts, which at the moment is not really what I gravitate towards the most. However, I do very much resonate with the use of warm neutrals and soft, luxurious knitwear. So I'll take inspiration from those elements and then remix them in my own way, with roomier silhouettes, for example. It's up to you to look at the whole picture, take the things you like, and leave the rest. That's actually pretty good general life advice when you think about it. Just remember, trends come and go, but style is perpetual. So try to minimize the outside noise, the external influence, and dress in accordance with what you like, what you feel comfortable and confident in. Dress with intention, dress authentically.